The Grapes of Wrath, and it becomes, of course, an extraordinarily famous book. What he was writing in this book, it's fictional, but he wrote the epic story. So when you say epic, you mean a story. It could be of a person or a family, but represents the story or the trial of the nation in some way. So that's why it's an epic. The epic tale of the Joad family. The Joad family, respectable middle-class Oklahomans, of course, who find themselves in grave difficulty because of the agricultural depression, because of the Dust Bowl situation, who get tractored off their farm. That's the one way they did it. If you wouldn't leave, they'd bring a bulldozer and they just push your house down. Who loaded up everything they could, of course, in the jalopy, made their way out Highway 66 to California, to be met, of course, with tremendous hostility and discrimination, just to show the whole story. Next year, it was turned into a movie, of course, starring Henry Fonda, and there's scenes from that movie, like when they drive into their first camp, where the migrant workers are camped there, and they begin to see sort of the extraordinary poverty and difficulty of that situation. I always like to tell you, though, how the movie ends and how the book ends, because both of them kind of give us an indication of the situation. The movie ends, I'm pretty sure, with Ma and Pa and like their daughter driving down the road into the sunset, with kind of a hopefulness that they're going to find something in some particular kind of way. The book ends very differently, and when you hear how the book ended, you'll understand why this would not be part of the movie in 1940. But the Joad family is in the Salinas Valley. They're in a railroad car, just kind of holding out the best they can. The Joad daughter has delivered a child, but they cannot sustain the child in the face, of course, of their situation, and the child dies. The rain is falling. This is the last page of that book. The rain is falling down. The boxcar that they're in begins to flood. They can't stay in it. So they're running down the highway in the rain, trying to find some other shelter. There's a barn in the distance, and they go into the barn. And as they enter the barn, they find that there's another Okie there already curled up like in a fetal position, and he's dying. He's dying. Now, they have no food with them, of course, but the only thing they do have is a young mother who has come into her milk, of course. And so you can guess, the suggestion of that last paragraph is she's going to try to nurse this guy. And it shows, on the one hand, the extraordinary degradation of these people, that they are reduced to something like this, but it also shows, of course, their efforts to try to survive in the face of, really difficult circumstances, to say the least. But John Steinbeck will write The Grapes of Wrath in many ways to honor the Okie experience as much as he possibly could. And the Okies become for us then a symbol of the human suffering of the Great Depression. I think they're a powerful indication that there's a lot of people are going to suffer, but the Okies just give us this one kind of dramatic example. Now, I do want you to know that John Steinbeck tried to honor them, the Okies, in his own way. Another man who did the same kind of thing was a guy named Woody Guthrie, and Woody Guthrie was one of the great folk singers of the 1930s, of this era, and he traveled around the nation, kind of often on foot, just with his guitar, and he called his guitar the weapon of love. He's going to try to do the best he could to uplift the spirits of the American people. So he wrote a song that in some ways will become an American anthem, and in many ways just trying to capture that moment of people on the road, of course, looking for something better, and to turn it into both a kind of heroic statement, but also a suggestion that the America that they were walking across was theirs, and not someone else's. But anyway, I'm going to sing his song for you guys, best I can right now. And it's called This Land Is Your Land. Well, I was walking that ribbon of highway. I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Well, I roamed and I rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. And all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. And when I come back, I'm going to tell you what exactly, and I lost my remote, there it is. I will tell you exactly what the United States of America is going to do about this situation of the Great Depression. See you next time.